Hello, brothers and sisters. I hope all is well. I hope that you're having a good start to your day. I know I am. Even though I have to work, it's unfortunate, but I just want to come and talk to you about a few things that have been going through my brain. Things I've been talking about or thinking about that I've seen. I made a video a few days ago, but I haven't gotten to upload it yet, so I will do that. It's going to be a little bit behind this one, but it is important. It talks about the Vegas shooting and my thoughts on that whole ordeal, and a bunch of different stuff. You should really check it out. It's really good. It's very deep stuff to really wrap your mind around, but service the other day went very well. I drummed with the band again. That's always fun to do. It was a good service. The music was great. We played very well. Everybody was really locked. I could feel that energy, and it's great when that happens, when you're just playing and you get to this point where everybody's on the same page, and you can feel that, because you all understand, and it's powerful, man. It's powerful. But the Pack won yesterday, 35-31. My God, that's amazing. Oh my God, that was a great game. I watched the whole thing. Watched it play out, and wow, that was quite a finish. There's a lot of times that where I'm like, oh, this is it. This is how it ends. I've seen this before, and it's it came out with it, man. They came out with it. That was just a game we really needed to win, because I knew the Cowboys would be out for blood from last year. But we still shut them down, man. That's good. That's good. Aaron played very well, even though he got sacked a few times. Our O-line is pretty beat up. But I think we played well. Overall, we played very well. So, go Pack, go. Victory Monday. It feels very good. But I want to talk to you about some little personal stuff. Kind of about ourselves and God and the world. And it goes back to, this is last week. John and I were discussing just a number of stuff. We always talk about things, and he always has, Brother John always has very interesting stuff to share. Like I've told you before, John is very, very, he's a very introvert. He keeps a lot of stuff to himself. So when you can get past that wall with him, it is absolutely amazing what he tells you. Because it's things that in his life that are really close to home, and he doesn't share his faith openly a lot, and that's okay. We're all different. We all experience faith very differently. And when he feels comfortable, like if he's playing or there's a song that he really believes in, he comes out. He feels comfortable enough to talk about it. And we were speaking about, this is before service, the band was in practicing. I was come down to make sure everything's okay, if anybody needs anything. And we talk about this song. I said, it's such a weird time. It was like 7/8 or something. Usually songs like 4/4. So and I was telling him, I'm like, because we played in that on the Wednesday service. And I said, it's really just about feel. It's a feel. You have to feel it song. It's not like some technical, like I can work it out. You got to put that behind you and just feel the song, because you can't really think too hard about what you're doing, or else you'll lose yourself and everybody will be off. So it's just a feel song. And he goes on to say about, like, it was about come as you are. God doesn't judge people. If you want to come to service in a Skid Row shirt, do it. Come as you are. He doesn't judge you. Other people judge you because that's humans. We're jealous, we're greedy, selfish people. But don't listen to them there. Do what you want. If you want to come in a freaking tank top, I don't care. God doesn't care. Our views are what fuel that. Like I said in my past video, they say our views fuel what we think is what we, it's what we perceive. But I don't think, I mean, if you want to dress up for service, sure, go ahead. I'm not, that's your call. I don't play that way because that's not me. I don't want to do it just because the people think we should do it. You know, I want to do it because I want to do it. And if you know me, dressing up is not my forte. I very rarely, very, very rarely dress up. Funeral or a wedding, you know, that's the only time that's gonna happen. I'm very casual. I don't think we should be forced to dress up. God does not care what you come in as long as you show up. And even if you don't show up, he still loves you. You know, he's not gonna shame you because you didn't wear a frickin' khaki pants and a nice dress shirt. He doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care. It's just our ego, our minds that feel that way. But you know, I come to worship in shorts and a Led Zeppelin shirt, and I feel comfortable with that. I think that's awesome. I'm pushing the barrier before everybody else, you know, because God knows that's who I am. Anytime I'm not working, I'm always wearing band shirts. I'm wearing something controversial, like against the man, against, you know, fighting for equal rights, stuff like that. And I wear that to service, sure, why not? You know, I don't care. It's me. It's my life. Let me do what I want. You know, we can't judge people just because we don't think it's the way we should do it. You know, it's not our view. It's, you know, I do what I want to do. You know, and the reason I wear a Zeppelin shirt is for Doug. That's why I do it. That's why I've always done it. Is because it's for him. You know, it's to show him that where I am, you know, that he can see me. And I know he sees me in general, but it's just a tribute. That's the least I can do for him, you know? And I always push other people. If you don't want to dress up, don't dress up. Who cares what they think? Don't let people manipulate you and say, well, God doesn't want you to. You don't know that. You don't know. I don't know if I do. You know, no one is right. No one's wrong. You know, you play it how you want to play it. If my son wanted to, or daughter, future son or daughter, wanted to go to service in a frickin' Tesla band concert shirt, I wouldn't stop him. Why? Because I'm afraid someone's going to look at him differently? No, fuck them, you know? Screw those people. Oh my God, someone's actually different. Wow. Oh my God, I know. Dare to be different. Don't fit in. Fit out of that circle. Be yourself. You don't need to be with everybody else. And I'm not saying if you agree, go in the group. And if you agree, if there's 90% of people there and you believe in that, don't go in it. That's not what I mean. It's just do what you want to do. Come as you are. Don't come in someone else's image of you. Because that wouldn't mean anything, you know? There's a lot of times that people say, you wear that to service? Yeah. That's your view. This is mine. Let me do me, you know? This is my life. I'm the driver. You're not the driver. I am. If I'm going to go down, let me go down. You won't go down, I will. So let me fucking figure it out, you know? Can't stand that. We always judge people. We always judge if you dress differently in a situation that you're not supposed to. There's no supposed to. It's what society has put in place that we think you're supposed to do. There's no rules. There's no limitations. There's no barriers. It's stuff that we put in place that we think we're supposed to do. So I'm telling you, dare to be different. Come as you are. Come how you want to. How do you want to show up to service? And don't be something you're not. Just because someone tells you you can't, don't listen to them. You be you. If you want to dress in a frickin' like yoga pants and a t-shirt, I don't care, you know? Who cares? I could care less. It's great that you're here, you know? That's the best important part, that you're here in God's house. in your own image, not an image someone wants you to be. So, going back to that, we were talking about come as you are, and that we always, in day-to-day life, there's problems, there's worries, there's stresses, and we always want to run away. We want to run away from this. We want to just run far as we possibly can. And we're always running away from God because we want to be by ourselves. We don't want Him. We want to feel down. We want to, and we're running away. And you can run as far as you possibly can. But as soon as you turn around, He's there. The whole time. And John was like, well, if He's there why are we running? What are we running from? Are we running from ourselves? Because if God's always there, why, it's a waste of time. He's never going to leave us. You know, so we shouldn't run from our problems because we'll be exactly in the same spot as we were. You know? And I think that's really, really true. I think that is very believable because there's a lot of points in our life where we want to be alone, that we want to say, God, I got this, it's fine, I understand, you know. But we gotta not run from God because He's here to help. He wants to know what we need. We need to talk to Him. And you may see, I may not see His hand. He's not here. He doesn't understand. Going back to Psalm 22, is that we say, oh God, I see all these things happening to people, and they didn't even try. They didn't try as hard as I did. So it's almost like you're jealous of them. And you say, well, I sacrificed so much. What more can I do? And I haven't seen your hand. I haven't seen it. I've asked. I've talked to you, but I haven't seen it. And that's normal. I feel that a lot of times where I'm pushing very hard in my life right now as it is, trying to move out, trying to do this, and I see other people that it seems like it's just handed to them. You know, I say, God, how is that fair? How is that? Why? Look what I'm doing. You know, I've sacrificed a lot of myself and a lot of everybody else to get where I am, and I still don't see it. It's like, how far in the hole do I have to go in order to figure this out? You know? But then we come back to Psalm 23 where we say, God is my shepherd. You know, He's there, and I was stupid to not see it. We have to ask God, you know, we have to ask Him because He wants to know, even if it's little, even if it's like, God, I had a really good day, and I thank you for that day. You know, something small, like I went to the store and I saw this person, it was great to see them. He wants to know. You know, don't be afraid to talk to Him and tell Him what you want. And I said this in the previous video, like we always pray, like I want, you know, I need help with this, God, and that's it. We let that go. But in Philippians verses 4, 6 through 7, it talks about like that, like tell Him what you want, but then also thank Him for what He's already done. Thank Him for where you're at now. Because we're so caught up in the now that we don't think about where we've come from, the journey that we've taken to get to this point. So tell Him what you want and thank Him for what He's already done. Like say, God, I need to move out. What can I do? I need your help I need your help, Lord, to figure this out because I'm lost. You know, I don't understand. So I need your help. And I thank you for where I'm at now because a lot of it wouldn't be because it's all because of you. Because you've helped me along this path. And that it makes more of an impact, you know? He sees what you want, but He also sees that you're appreciative of where you come from. So think about that. It's a big part, and I like when John talks about that stuff because it's very deep, it's very personal. But like I said in before, like we're like in my previous video I'm gonna post eventually. It's like 40 minutes, so it's a long video, but it's meant to be that way. But I talk about how we're not our bodies aren't us, that we are inside, our soul is us. That in a sense our bodies are a car and we're the driver. Our bodies Our car isn't us. We inside of that car are us. So like when we pass on, our body dies, but we don't. We don't die. We move on. You know, our spirit will always be there. Our body is just a representation of us. It's not us. It's just a character that we play in life. And just like Jim Carrey talked about, how we see the ocean, like a wave is separate from the ocean, but it's not. A wave is the ocean. But what if we're not just the wave, we're the ocean? Like, our wave is our bodies, but the ocean is us. You know? And I feel like that was very, 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 very powerful. And that our ego will always try to change us, make us think that we're not good enough. You know, that's what ego does. And he talks about this in a very clever way, because he's like, our egos are always there to pretty much put a mirror in front of our face and saying, you're not as good as that person. You need to step up and be better than them somehow. Figure out how you're going to do that, because you're not as good as him, and you'll never be as good as him unless you do this, this, and this. And what's funny about that, our ego tries to lead us astray and become something we already are. We're this the whole time. Our ego is just trying to change us to make us think that we're nothing, that we mean nothing, that we're not good enough for the world, that the world doesn't think we're it, you know. We haven't made it, but you have. You have made it. Don't let your ego make you, like, if someone's walking on the street and they look more attractive than you, don't let your ego say that, you know. Say, oh, you see that guy? Yeah, you're not as good as him. He has everything and you don't. Don't let them think. Don't let ego do that. We're here. We've made it. Don't let ego try and draw you from that. And with ego, like, going back to, like, God, and we're always searching for him. We're always searching for God. Like, where is God? You know, where is he? And like I said in Psalm 22, we always think, well, he's not here. He doesn't care about me, you know. If he was, he would have showed himself. And everyone's searching for God, but in my eyes, we are God. We are his children. We are made in his image. And I feel like in points of our life, we take on God's role. Like when we're helping someone else, or we help someone through a difficult situation of loss or just stress. I feel like we become him in his hand when we help that person up and they say thank you. You know, we become God to somebody else. And there's a story I want to share to end this whole thing, and it was Pastor Scott told us this. And he said there was this pastor who was in seminary school, so he was just learning. Well, he was in seminary to become a pastor, and he really didn't get it. You know, he was struggling through a lot, and he didn't really understand. He wasn't really understanding a lot, and he was struggling. And the head priest sent him to a old folks home and said, you know what, just go there. This is your last chance. You need to bring these children here. They want to experience, they want to serve God in this way. Just bring them there and just bring them back. You know, that's all you have to do. Just bring them there and then bring them back. So what he does is he goes there and they're like helping the old folks, and he's in the back of the room just watching. And there's this person who comes up and he stands next to him. And then what was weird is that the children are putting on this like play or performance for the old folks and stuff, and he was in the back, and this guy come up in a wheelchair comes up and he stands next to him, and he goes out and he grabs his hand, and at first he's kind of like, well, what the heck, you know, he doesn't get it, and so after that the first time he didn't understand. He's like, well, that's weird, why would he do that? And then the next day he brings the children back, and they're doing some, not necessarily a play, something else, and he's still in the back of the room, and the man is back again, and he comes back, and this time he grabs his hand, but he doesn't pull away. He says, you know what, we're just going to let this play out. I'm going to let him have this moment. I'm not going to do anything. And then whenever they had to go, he let go of his hand, and he was wheeled back to his room. And this went on for a few days, and towards the end of the week, they went back. This is the last time the kids were going to help out. And he goes back, and he's in the back like he always does. But the man who came wasn't there. And he looked for him. He was searching. And he said, well, there's this person who was here. Where is he? I don't understand what happened. And he said, oh, he's not doing very well. He's in his room. And he rushed down there. He ran down that hall, and he went into his room. And he sat with him. And the nurse said that he already passed away. He was too late. And he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated, like anybody would. And he said, the first day, he's like, I should have held his hand. I should have been there for him. But she didn't recognize who he was because she's never seen him before. And she said, well, you must be the person you always talked about. And he said, well, what do you mean? Who was I? She said, he always talked about that God was there with him. And there was this man who was there, who held his hand every day, and he just absolutely loved it. And he was God. He was God. To that man, this person in seminary school, pastor that was in seminary school, was God to him. And that was so powerful that we become God. Like going back to Doug when he was in this very down state that he was in. This is hard for me to talk. This is where our relationship kicked off. He was very sad, very down in service, but he played through, and during a sermon he usually sits with his family, but he sat in the very back of the sanctuary. Like he never does that, ever. No matter what it is. And he was sitting by himself. And I feel like God opened that door for me. He pretty much, because I looked over and I saw him, and I feel like God was there to say, Jake, go and talk to him. Go over, he needs your help. Go and talk to him. This is the perfect time. And so I went over, and I sat with him, and we talked. And he just, I've never experienced that. I've never experienced what I did with him in that moment. I've never connected that close. Where he was there and I said, I'm here. I'm here for you. And I said, no matter what people say about you or that you did something wrong, you didn't. You haven't done anything wrong. And I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Because we're a team and I'm not leaving you in the dust. I'm not going to let these people say that you're something. I'm not going to let these people say that you're not something, that you're doing it wrong, you're not doing it right. Don't listen to them. And I held his hand. I said, I am not leaving you. I will never leave you. I will always be here. And the way he looked at me, and he hugged me in front of everybody. He hugged me and he was crying on my shoulder. And he says, Jake, you're such a good friend. That was powerful. That was something else. And this is super emotional for me. And this was later on, and he always called me brother in Christ. I was his brother. And when I got that phone call, November 1st, it was a Tuesday, we were supposed to have a meeting, and he didn't show up. We didn't have it. For some reason, he said he wasn't feeling well. And I don't know what I was doing, but I got this call from Scott, and I got it once, and I was busy. I didn't answer it for some reason. I don't know why. But he called again, and I said, well, that's weird. That can't be right. And he said, hey, Jake, it's Scott. And I said, hi, what's going on? And he says, it's Doug. I knew what happened. I knew. My heart just fell to the floor, and he said, something happened, Jake. Something happened with Doug. And I'm like, no, what? That's impossible. He said, Doug, he was breaking up on the phone because he was his best friend too. And he's like, gosh, he had a heart attack, Jake. I didn't see it. I should have been there. And I tried to pull myself together. He's like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'll be fine. I put that mask on. I don't want people to see this. And he's like, okay, I'll see you in service. And hung up the phone. I threw the phone. I threw it at the wall. And I just bawled my eyes out. I was so upset. I was so mad. I was so pissed off. Because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. I was mad at God. I was like, why did you take him? We were at a point where we were just getting started. Our life was just beginning. And he knew that. And he took him anyways. He didn't need to go. God, no. He wasn't even that old. I went upstairs. I broke down. I fell to the floor. My mom came to me, what's going on? I said, Doug passed away. And I said, I just need to go for a drive. I just need to drive because that's what I do. When something happens, I just want to be alone. I don't want to put my emotions on anybody else. This is how I work through this. This is my way. And so I said, I just need to drive. Just let me go. I just need some time to think. And because that's how I work. I like to be alone. I like to be isolated with my thoughts. I want to work this out by myself. And like I tell Mariah, because she wants to be there. She wants to be there for me. But there's just a point where it's nothing against her or anybody else. It's just how I've always worked. I've always wanted to do things by myself because that's how I was. I've always been by myself. So I didn't have a choice, but so I just wanted to drive, but then I went up to church and it was just me. I was just there. I didn't turn any lights on. I just had the lights on the cross. That was it. And I plugged in my phone. I blasted music. I just blasted it. And I sat in the front row, right in front of the band where he was, and I just broke down. I was beside myself. And Mariah was at work. She actually left. She left because my mom told her what happened. And she told me this later on. I said, me, I said, I don't want to be here. And Mariah asked my mom, this was when I was at church, she's like, do you think I should go? And she's like, I think he wants you to be there. And 2 minutes after shower away, and I text her, I said, I want you to be here. And I was just so down. That's the lowest I think I've ever been in my life. When I lost someone that close. I mean, I've lost family members. I've lost my favorite pet in the world. And that was low, but this took it to a whole new level. Because it's like watching myself die. Watching my older self die and leave. And she was there and she didn't say anything. She came in, she didn't say a word to me. She just sat next to me and she hugged me. And I said, what am I gonna do? I can't fly by myself. I'm not ready to fly. There's so much more I need to learn. I'm not ready to go yet. We had so much planned. We had so much stuff to bring to the congregation. We had so much more meetings to have. And she said, you'll work through it. It's okay. She's like, you'll find your wings. And to me, in my head, I was thinking about this was days later. And I thought, maybe I have these wings the whole time. I just didn't see it. And I called Doug's wife, Maggie. I called her and I left a message because this was the day after. So I knew she was just beside herself. And I just, in a nutshell, I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And she left me a voicemail. I was at work. I didn't see it, but I listened to it. I still have it on my phone. I haven't erased it. She said, she said, thank you so much for what you said, and just for being there for Doug, because he thought of you as a brother. He's the brother that he never had. And that has always hit me. That has always come back. And like I said, going back, that we're God, and that God gives us opportunities to become himself. And I feel like when Doug was down and he sat in the back of that sanctuary, I became God to him. Because no one else sat back there. I sat back there with him. I did. I left everything up in the sound booth, and I need to do this. I put everything else aside because it wasn't important. Making sure he was okay was the most important thing in my mind at that point. And I became God to him. And that makes me feel amazing. Every day is a struggle for me with him gone, and it's hard. It's very difficult. There's a lot of regrets that I have. I know I shouldn't have them, but it's a normal thing. It's part of the process. But I hope he's proud of me. That's all I ask. I'm trying, I'm doing my best. There's been many times where I've been stuck and I say, yeah, you would have known if you were here, You would show me, oh yeah, it's this. I was so stupid. Why didn't I think of that? But there's times in service where he showed me he was okay and he was there. Like I talked about Music Sunday when I was drumming and there was no one in the booth, and I was so nervous because it was a huge service and he wasn't there. And I had the iPad, I don't know how this is going to sound. I'm not up there. I don't know. And just so when I moved the fader down, because I thought the vocals were too loud, from where I was, I didn't know. I moved it down, and I sat there, and I was listening to Scott, and I saw it move right back up again. And there was no one back there. There was not a single person back there. And that kind of reassured me that he's like, Jake, I'm here. I'm okay. I got it. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You just focus on playing. That's all you need to do. And I told people that, and they were just blown away. And I'm not making this up. I swear. I'm not making this up. And so we're always searching for God. But we are God, brothers and sisters. We are him. He gives us opportunities, open doors to become God to somebody else. And sometimes we may see it, sometimes we may not. But there's always opportunities. There's not just one and you miss your shot. There's many opportunities that we can take on his role and become him. So don't be running from God, because he's always here. And he wants to help you. His hand is always there. We're just blinded by life to see it. So come as you are, brothers and sisters. Be yourself. Don't be in someone else's image. Be in your own image. Be the person that you want to be. Who cares what the world thinks of you or what the world thinks you're supposed to do? Don't listen to them. Listen to yourself. Listen to you. Listen to you. What you want to do. What you want to do. And don't think about anybody else. Think about you. What can I do to succeed? What makes me happy? What makes me feel comfortable? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Is that you're doing what you love and what you feel is right. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Hope you have an awesome day.